Welcome back to Speak Life. It's your boy Mark Mead. In this episode, we actually are bringing to you a series, two-part series on overcoming financial obstacles in business. You're going to need this as a tool in your tool belt when we're talking about revenue forecasting, using work ethic as brute force, having problems, capital crunch in business, how to actually overcome debt management. All these things are going to help you as tools in your tool belt to crush it in business. And please like and subscribe to the channel. Without your support, we are nothing. Thank you so much. Please tune in. All right, welcome back to Speak Life. My name is Mark Mead. We're sowing seeds today for tomorrow's harvest. Thank you for joining us on this new episode. What we want to talk about today are overcoming financial obstacles in business. What a topic. We've all been there, and if you're not there, you're going to be there no matter what. Financial obstacles in business are unavoidable. We're going to be approaching them. I don't care if you have a multi-billion-dollar business or if you're just getting started today. If you have a multi-billion-dollar business, you have multi-billion-dollar problems. And if you're just getting started today, you got problems. And so we're going to try to navigate our way through this no matter what, whether you're dealing with, starting brand new today, or you just hit a wall in business and you're trying to figure it out. I've been all over the map when it comes to these topics, and I know exactly the spot you're in and exactly how to get you out of it. When I think about business and I think about starting a business with little capital, like I've been there, when I got into most of the businesses that I've ever been a part of, but I'm going to talk about the insurance business. I'm going to talk about the mortgage business. I'm going to talk about just being in business in general and going and purchasing product to move. I've usually had little to no money. When I got in the insurance business, I had $150,000 in debt. I had $5,000 in a savings account, and I had no other money. And I was running from pillow to post to try to make money at the time because I was in the mortgage business and I was looking to get out of it. And I was hoping and praying that the insurance business was the answer, but I had little to no capital in business. And so when I think about that and I think about that time, that $5,000, it felt like some bandwidth, but I knew that you can't get anything rolling for that kind of money. So I looked at that and I said, all right, the way I'm going to approach this is the one thing I have is work ethic and I have intelligence, meaning I can outwork the learning curve and I can outwork whatever information I need from a selling standpoint, product standpoint, to go out there and help families. I can do those things. That's not going to be that complicated. I'll be able to figure out how to talk to the people and get the things that get them the protection that they need. But what I didn't have a lot of was money. And so you might be in that same exact spot. You might be in a position right now where money's not just, you're getting started, you're not flowing right. Now, every single time I tried to start a business at this time period or prior to this time period or during this time period, I had little capital, every single time. When I was, in other direct sales businesses, or when I was trying to sell real estate, or when I was trying to invest in real estate, I had very little capital. I was trying to learn how to do things on what they call OPM, which is other people's money, which is like, it's cute. It's cute. It really is cute. But I don't know if that's what I'd be recommending right this second. Work ethic, if you're willing, can be your best friend in business. I don't care what business you're in. You can straight up outwork your situation. You can straight up outwork your problem. You can straight up use work ethic as brute force in your business to get where you need to go. If you're selling a service, you're selling a product, you can use work ethic as brute force. I don't care if you gotta bang doors throughout your community. I don't care if you need to rally up all the business owners in the community. I don't care if you need to get on social media and hit every single angle. I don't care if you're doing TikTok, you're doing Instagram ads, you're doing stuff on YouTube. It doesn't matter to me, but work ethic is your best friend in business, And you can literally use work ethic as a battering ram. And here's what happens when you have little to no capital, but you're willing to grind 12, 14, 16-hour days. The way that works is this. You're going to start moving product. You're going to start moving revenue north. And what you had no money to start, revenue starts moving north, and you're taking the money and you're pouring it back into the business as it's coming in. So it's not really your money. But remember, you didn't take a loan. You didn't have any new debt you created for the business. I'm going to try to help you do this with no debt. I've been in situations where I've had to take some debt. But I'm going to try to help you do this. The first way I want to show you how to do this is using work ethic as brute force, and you're starting off in a business with little to no capital. Second way we'll talk about is potentially you're already in business and you have a capital crunch. You're being sandwiched by things. We'll get into that. But right now, we're focusing on the fact that you have something in your hands. You know you could take it to market, but the thing you wish you had more of was capital. Well, guess what? You do have capital. It's called sweat equity. You like equity? I like equity. You have two forms of equity. You have working capital or sweat. So I like sweat. I like sweat equity because I control that. I don't always control the revenue. I don't always control the working capital, but I darn sure control sweat equity. And, I've always heard it said this way. You either have time or money when you're getting started. You usually don't have both. You either have time or money. Which one do you have, sir? Which one do you have, ma'am? Do you have time? Time means that that's real sweat equity. Let's go. Money, you might be able to start from a different perch because you actually have some capital to get going. I'm good either way, but you either have time or you have money. Most people have time. Just being straight up. Now, if you're on the other side of the spectrum, great. This is going to be a 2-part series. We're going to talk a little bit about, the other side of this, but I want to talk about right now using work ethic as brute force to drive sales, to drive revenue, to drive volume in your business. And understanding that, hey, if you can do that, by the way, when you learn to do that, you learn a lot of things because you realize, hey, I can make money in a phone booth. I can make money out of the, tablecloth on the table that I'm sitting at. I can make money. I can flip things. I can sell stuff. And selling is an amazing commodity. And so learning how to do that is important when you're starting from nothing or if you're trying to get movement on something. The other thing you want to start looking at is cash flow management. So as the work ethic is being activated, remember, revenue's coming in. So now we're starting to look at cash flow management. The best thing in business is having that cash register open, time in and time out. You want to keep that cash register open. How do we do that? Well, we keep working. If you have a product, its sell-through rate is good, or you have clients that are interested in it, or you're moving stuff online, then you got to keep working that muscle. And then what you're doing is you want to take some of that capital and pour that capital back into the business intelligently. And that could mean like buying ads or doing some things that help you advance what it is you're trying to do. You got to understand that cash register needs to be opening. If you have a burn rate of $15,000 a month and you're generating $19,000 a month, okay, you're spending $15 to make $19. That's today. That ain't forever. Understand that $4,000 that you have, that's revenue that came in, that might not be your money. That might not be your money. That's probably the business's money. The business got paid back $15,000 to run. Well, what's this $4,000 for? For you? Then what? So sometimes this $4,000 needs to be used strategically to make the 19 in revenue jump to 28 in revenue. Eventually, you're going to create a little bandwidth for yourself. But right now might not be that time. And so you want to look at this. You want to understand this correctly so that you can continue building the business. The entrepreneur getting paid right away is not part of the program, not a successful program. It's just not really part of the program. We're going to take less. You get paid last. I got paid last. And I didn't even think about it. I had to tell my wife different. I had to shade it so that we could, stay married. But at the end of the day, like I got paid last. It's like, well, where's all the money? 20,000 came in. Yeah, I know. And 20,000 went out. Like, I don't know what everyone thinks this is early. Like this, I don't get into business. I don't have a great idea, a great product, a great service, jump in business and think that all of a sudden 6 to 7 figures a month in income are going to start coming in. And all of a sudden I get to keep 6 figures a month. No, we got to expand the business. I might have to hire someone. I might have to hire a company to come in and do some work for me. I might have to hire, painters to paint something. I might have to, call my manufacturer and make sure that they can get this to me by tomorrow. I need to spend a little extra money. Just understand this is how it works. Now, when you're thinking about the next level and you got cash coming in, business is flowing, you got cash coming in, you're trying to, manage the cash flow. You need to start looking at managing debt. You need to start looking at prioritizing debt. Do you have debt? Do you have debt? Did you take any debt while you started doing this? Did you have to take loans? There's many times I had to take loans. I had to take out loans for equipment. I had to take out loans for office furniture sometimes. I had to take out loans for, copy machines sometimes. Sometimes I got the copy machine on lease. Like, understand, there's different ways to navigate it. I don't owe it all back today. It starts running in my monthly expenses, right? And so I don't owe it all back today. And that's important too. Like, how much of it can you pay cash? How much of it can you borrow? And even if you're borrowing it not all in one lump sum, you're borrowing it with different vendors, it's not always a lot. Like, I was buying furniture, used furniture to furnish the office because we had people. I couldn't let them all open up a blanket and sit on the floor. It's not professional. It wasn't going to work. I had to show face, but we got cheap furniture. I went down to my man and he got me a whole list. We got to shop around the warehouse, find furniture that was used that we were able to get for like $4,000. And, then I found a company that would kind of loan the money to me and I could pay it back over a certain period of time. Why? Not because I didn't have the 4,000 per se, but because let's go back to that revenue example. Let's go back to, let me make a new example. Let's go 20,000 burn rate, 30,000 in revenue coming in. I got 10. That 10's not always mine. And so now I'm taking the money that now if I get this furniture, I could pay 4,000 for it because I have 10. But if I pay 4,000 for it, I only have 6 left. If they'll give me a loan for it and the loan will cost me $180 a month or $300 a month, now I'm buying time. It won't be like this forever. And I'm not going to accumulate a ton of debt, but I might have some. Now, how do I manage debt and how do I make sure these guys are getting paid back and that, listen, as the business grows, I could take lump sums and take care of the debt if I want to, or I can keep it at the $300 a month. But these are decisions that you're going to make day in and day out in business. This thing's about staying alive, ladies and gentlemen. This thing is about survival before it's about any thriving. Stop buying the Thrive drug. Stop. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but you understand you're in fight mode a lot of the time doing this. And I love it. I probably wouldn't have it any other way. And if that's in your genes and in your bloodstream, more power to you, sister. More power to you, brother. I'm with you. But let's focus on this ability to run the business. Okay. So now we're revenue forecasting. We're foreshadowing. We want to know, what can we do in the next 90 days with this thing? What can we do in the next 30 days? Because I'm not planning the next 5 years right now. Again, I'm trying to stay alive. So what's 30 days going to look like? What's 90 days? I'm not trying to get rich quick. I'm trying to stay alive. Trying to figure out, okay, what are the next 5 big purchases we need to make? Is the equipment that we have to run this influencing business good enough? Are we shooting in 4K? Are we not? Does it matter yet? Does it matter yet? You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not sure. Are the cubicles that we have, are they good enough? Are they falling apart? Am I gonna have to buy new ones? Do we need new computers? Do I need new screens? What are we doing? Do we need to buy laptops? Does someone take a lot of work home with them? What am I doing? Okay, these are all expenses. So that means I got to start forecasting revenue. Okay, and I have to start saying, okay, what is it gonna look like in 30, 60 to 90 days? I could do 6 months, I could do 12 months. I'm probably not gonna go do a 30-year pipeline here, but I need to start looking at like, all right, if we could sell X amount of units, or if we could service X amount of clients. We're servicing 20 now. What if we can get that to 50 in the next 6 months? Okay, revenue looks like this. What are the top 5 big items we might need to buy? Okay, those items all together are going to cost us X. Let's say $35,000. Can't buy them all at once. Don't need to take debt out on all of them at once. Don't get it confused. We're trying to manage this thing, and then I've got X amount more coming in. And I start picking things off one by one, the items that I need. And maybe I start adding a vendor, or I add a staff, and I start playing this money game with my business. And I start playing the revenue game, and I start playing the profit game, and I start playing the service game with my clients, and seeing where we can take this thing. That is a very gratifying place. It's scary all the time. Make no mistake about it. But you feel like you have your hands on something. And as an entrepreneur, that is a rush type of feeling. You get a rush when you feel like you have your hands on something. And we start talking about what it looks like to go to the very next level, which is controlling your operating costs and understanding that, hey, there's a point where Mark Me needs to get paid. It might not be early, but there's a point where the entrepreneur you needs to get paid. There's a point where, as we're busting tail, as we're moving things around, as we're making promises to our family, as we're making maybe unkept promises to our family, as we're trying to move the needle and move the vision and move things around. And what I do recommend is this: if you're married, if you have kids, if you have a significant other, someone that you is near and dear to your heart, that is in this thing with you and as a supporter, you got to cast vision regularly and reset the vision. Constantly reset the vision, because that's an important piece. Maybe we'll do a podcast on something like that, because I think that's valuable, that I had to really hone in on and understand how to help keep everything afloat and keep everyone engaged as this thing was going, and there's bumpy rides. So we'll talk more about that. But as we're controlling operating costs, and we know that, hey, $60,000 a month is coming in, it's costing us $42 to run it. Now you got a little bread. Don't forget, you got to pay Uncle Sam, but you everything's being run at this number. Sure, you can get it to more. You got to decide what move you're going to make and how you want to make it. Do you want to keep expanding the business? Do you like the business that you have? Do you like the time you have? Do you like what you built? Let's look at it, right? There's so many pieces to this puzzle, things that you're going to see, things that are going to be unseen, things that are going to smack you across your forehead and you wish you had the eyes to see it. Just remember this: every time you get smacked across the forehead, you're learning. And eventually that thing's going to come for you and you're going to duck it, because you're going to see it coming. What I want to do here is I want to get into a part 2 of this series on overcoming financial obstacles in business. And I want to get into what it looks like to be in a capital crunch, like what it looks like to feel like the walls are caving in on you and you need to activate in a different kind of way. You're already running the business. You're already moving it. You're already pushing weights off of you, but they keep on coming. There's unexpected expenses in business, things that you're not always ready for. And you need a breather and you need some oxygen. And what I want to do in part 2 is talk about that oxygen that you can grab to help you stay afloat, help you stay alive, and eventually thrive in your business. So make sure you come back for the next episode, because we're going to hit on that thing real hard. Catch us in the next 2 weeks. We're going to bring some more value to you guys. All right, y'all, that's part 1. It's in the books. Part 2's coming up. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. This way, when it comes out, it drops right down on your phone. You see it, you click it, you watch it. That's how we rolling. And understand this, as we're talking through this series of money and overcoming financial obstacles, this part 2 is gonna knock you out. But if you like what you're hearing, please click over here. I'm talking about the best financial advice I ever received. And if you like this kind of flow, also click over here. I'm talking about how to make a good ROI in business. All we're trying to do is bring value to you. Let's comment about this. Let's talk about this. Let's figure out how we can all help each other overcome obstacles in business. Financial obstacles, they're coming. They're there. They'll be there forever. Let's have the conversation. Don't feel alone. Don't feel ashamed, because there's a whole community here. Let's keep the conversation going, y'all. And please share the content. It's going to help some people. I love y'all. Appreciate you. God bless.